welcome to week 3 of Turtle Friends Coffee and Card. We're going to make this card today, so I'll just get on. Sorry if I'm sounding a little bit croaky, I'm just recovering from quite a bad cold. Not COVID, still not nice. Right, so we've done some layering on this one. It's almost like paper piecing to get that green shell there, that garden green shell. So I've used the garden green ink. I'm destroying this package here. And I've also brought in a couple of other colours that you do have if you've been doing the coffee and card all along. So we've got some Misty Moonlight, some Bumblebee, and some very bright purple whose name escapes me. In colour 2022 Magenta Madness. So, and I think I've got a few diamantes on my dress and they're just reflecting. I hope they're not distracting. Right, so I'm going to show you how I actually positioned the turtle on this piece here. So if we start with that and start with the garden green ink pad, put those over there. And getting the turtle. What I did was, it helps if you put it the right way on the block. All my blocks have got Ellie on because I'm just back from Julie Wade Create Handmade Happiness retreat this weekend, so I took my blocks with me, so I'll make sure I came home with my blocks and not someone else's. I've just got my initials on. So what I'm going to do is I am going to ink up my turtle and then I'm going to stamp him off a few times. Okay, so 1, 2, still quite dark there, 3, so it's fading away there. It's about where I want him, and I'm just going to position him directly onto here. Okay, quite near the bottom. There we go, so we've got a light impression of the turtle. Okay, so you can just about see him there. And that will enable us to position the bird and the hat, because the bird and the hat are actually stamped on this piece of paper. I haven't cut them out or anything. So I wanted to make sure they were in the right place for when I did do the punched turtle. So let's get a little stamp. Then we need our little birdie who I adore. I think she is on every single card. So if you haven't got the Misty Moonlight stamp pad, you will have the Misty Moonlight Stampin' Right marker, so you can use that to ink up your little bird. Okay. And so this way, if we just pop her just above the shell, just excuse my hair, we know that we'll be able to see her when we get the punched shape on. And then back to the garden green for the little hat. Just pop that away. And get my pens out. Right. And so we're just going to stamp that over his head. I'm just going to pop that on a bigger block because the edges distort the image. I couldn't quite see where the edge of his head was. So I'm just going to put that on a bigger block so that the edges won't get in the way. There we go. And I can see what I'm doing. So there we go. So the hat and the bird are in the right position, and once we get our proper turtle on, then we'll be able to see them beautifully. So I'm using the pens we had with the Celebrate Sunflowers coffee and card to colour in the hat. But if you don't have these, you know, colour whatever colour you want really. So I'm going to stick with the Bumblebee, excuse me, and the Magenta Madness. So I'll do it with the pen end And I'm just going to quickly colour in the little flower. And not to go. As ever, you can take as much or as little time over this as you want. We're not looking for perfection. Well, some of us maybe, but it's worth doing neatly. But we're not doing any fancy colouring or blending. We're just colouring in a paper hat. There we go. Okay. So, and then to finish off this little piece, we just need to add some grass. So I'll pop the grass on a little block. Get my garden green out again because I put it away. And this, because this is what's going to actually show, I'm doing first generation stamping. So one just behind and one just ahead. Oof, I did. Always watch that you don't get ink on the corner of your block when you are using a bigger block than you need. I mean, it can happen anytime, but particularly if you're using a bigger block than you need. So I've just touched it just to the edge there, unfortunately. Okay, so there we go. So that's ready now to be built up into the scene. And this actually is cut out with the stitched So Sweetly framelets, which is a lovely set if you've not got already, worth a look at. So let's see what else we've got. So we've done that. So we've got the green. I've also got a piece to do the turtle. I've probably given you rather more than you need. And then the crumb cake for the background, and the card base, and then inside the card it's a 10-fold card, and I've just put a couple of little turtles on, just saying hello. Right, so let's finish off this front piece and then I'll show you how I did the background. So what we need to do here is we need to get our green out again, and we're going to stamp the turtle on. I'm going with mint macaron, pretty certain that's mint macaron. Okay, I'm just going to stamp the turtle on here. There we go. And I'm also going to stamp him on here. So I'm trying to save my grid paper. I don't think it's going to work. I think there are going to be turtles and I'll have to transfer all my logo and off onto a fresh piece. Right, so what you need is the shell on here. You don't have to put the whole, I'm going to put the whole turtle because I can have enough space. But you mainly need the shell on that because that's what we're going to cut out. Okay. And then if we just get the filling for the shell, it doesn't want to come off. There we go. I'm having to block the sunlight out today. It's such a beautiful day that I've actually got the background I use for photographing cards on stuck on the window, or blocking the window so that the sun wasn't shining all over the place. So I'm just going to bring this a little bit nearer to me, and just so I can see what I'm doing, and just stamp that shell. Okay, so I've just stamped it on there. There we go. So we've now got the shell on the green, and we now need to punch these two turtles out. So I'll have another drink of my coffee. Excuse me. Okay, so we've got our punch and our little turtle. I've given you quite a lot of this card because you are going to use some of it for the sentiment. But it also means it's easier to hold. So I'm happy with him lined up there. There we go. And then I am just going to chop out our green turtle. So one we're just going to be chopping. Well, we're chopping out the whole turtle, but it's the shell we need. Right. I'm happy with that. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to get my snip. So what I'm going to do is just cut out the shell part of the turtle. So I'm just going to snip off his legs and bring that round to the front of that, and then we're just going to take off his tail and his other leg. And there we go. Turtle with green shell. How cute is he? So we're just going to glue the shell on, and then I'm going to mount the turtle on the card using dimensionals. Lining that up with the punched shape. There we go. And then we'll just get some dimensionals out. Put a third one on, why not? Okay. I'll just pop the backs off these. So there's a lot of stamping in this one, which is nice. That's what we enjoy doing. Okay, and I am just going to try and line him up with the one I've already stamped. So he's covering it up. But everything's positioned beautifully, so you can't see the original stamped image anymore, but the hat and the bird are just right, which is the look we were going for. Right, so we'll get this again, and what I've done is I have stamped my happy belated birthday, sorry I was slow, on the excuse me, mint macaron, and then I've cut it to size. So it means you can use any of the stamps that you want and then make them the right size for the sentiment that you've used. So okay, so I'm going to stick to the same one, but you know, you could use happy birthday, friends forever, whatever you wanted, and just trim it down to the right size. So let's just do that again properly. So straight on the grid paper, make sure your block's straight, and then your sentiment will be straight. And then I am just going to pop that on there. There we go. So happy belated birthday. Sorry I was slow. Okay, and on this one I think I'm just going to actually chop it to size. Just going to do it this way. Right, so you get your trimmer out, and all I'm going to do is line up where I want it to cut, so it's got a similar length. So this length here is similar to this length here, so I think I'll bring it a bit closer. So always leave too much space because you can always trim it. Whereas if you make it too narrow, then you can't, but then you have got another piece that you could use. Okay, so I think that has ended up as just short of 2.5 centimetres. Okay, so that's that. There's lots left. Don't throw that away. Okay, so we've got those two pieces. So now on this, the background I've actually used is like this stringy stamp, for want of a better word. And so this has got 3 sort of streamers on it, and what I've done is stamp that on the background. I'm going to give up trying to keep this clean now because I'm going to have to go over to do this. So now what I did when I did it is I started at the top and then ended up with a little bit of a gap, tiny weeny gap at the bottom. So I thought what I'll do is I'll start at the bottom and put it just over the bottom, and then hopefully then it will fit. And I keep changing it round as I'm doing it to give the background. Right, so here we go. Now when you're using the same stamp over and over again, sometimes you will need to clean in between. Okay, and then turn it round, do one that way, and that the same way, maybe turn it round again. Oops. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to clean it in between because it does pick up between the streamers. Just with a damp cloth. And then I'm going to come back the other way. So, and just above. As I say, sometimes turning it over, doing a few and then turn it round again. And it's just, you know, it's very simple, but quite effective, I think, as backgrounds. And it's just making full use of all these stamps. And then again, going back the other way. Then we've got lots of streamers on the background. There we go. Now, and then while we've got our ink out, I'll do our little turtles for inside as well. So, see, quite an effective little background that I thought. I did see it on Pinterest. It's not one of my ideas. I can't remember who I saw it on, unfortunately. But it's just a nice little background because I was wondering what to do with those little swirls. And again, the block's far too big, so watch the edges. Little one facing this way. Clean him off. And we'll do the other one facing the other way. The babies are so cute. There we go. And then, yeah, we're doing a baby card next time. Although again, you can swap and change your sentiments how you like. Most of my friends are coming up to retirement rather than having babies. That doesn't mean their children are having them. There's one. Ooh. And there's the other one. I am pretty certain I've done all the stamping now. I'll put this green away again. And we're just going to assemble the card now. So I'll get the glue out and get the card base. So I've already started work on next month's coffee and card, and we're going to be doing Free as a Bird, which is a stamp set that's been around a little while. And I thought what we could do, because we've got our pens from the Sunflower coffee and card, plus a lot of you have been collecting the in colours with me, and that's now finished. So you've got all this year's in colour pens as well. So if you we're going to be doing lots of colouring and things using those pens in the new one, so it will be a lot cheaper because you just have to buy the stamp set and the kit. I won't be including an ink because we'll be just using the Memento Black. Excuse me. Oh. I have to go back and see if I can mute these out. And then we're just going to add our little turtle over off to one side, so then we can add our sentiment over here. So glue, glue, glue. Just popping him in the corner, sort of equal distances from the top and side. And then I'll pop my sentiment down here. Now, if you've decided to use a different sentiment, have a practice yourself before you glue anything, how you would want to set it out. And I do love getting all your photographs of what you've done with the kits, and particularly if you are on Linda's Paper Crafters, if you can post them on there, and if you're not on Linda's Paper Crafters, let me know and I will invite you to the page. And it's just for us, so just for me and my customers, to show what we've been doing. I don't open it to the public because I think a lot of you are new stampers and I want to encourage you, not discourage you. Right, and so again, equidistance from the corner, and there we go. That's this week's card. So that's the one I've done this week, that's the one I've done already. As usual, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, my face is going to appear, I think it's about here somewhere shortly, and if you can click on that or just press the subscribe button in the bottom, that'd be really useful. It helps with my viewing figures. So hope you've enjoyed this and look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you very much. Bye bye.